Welcome to today's Facebook Live with me, Jimmy, and Vicky. So, as we mentioned briefly last week, I have kind of wanted to go over a few ways of making our chords sound a bit more interesting and sound a bit of fun because I feel like a lot of, as Vicky said, we've done a lot of talking, so maybe a bit nicer to just play some guitar. So what I've got in mind is suitable for all, I'd like to think all age groups. So they're chords based on the young beginner and the junior one chords. However, these can be purposed into ways of doing cool stuff if you've got senior one, senior two, senior three chords and just different ways of playing things. And I kind of wanted to, I guess, the way I kind of think about chords a lot is rather than just supporting a vocal line, it's something that kind of, you can use them to kind of create and change the way things sound, and you can have a lot of fun with them. And it's just, for me, it's something I really, really enjoy kind of messing around with because it's fun and creative, and I like it a lot. So again, if there is anything that comes up or anyone's got any questions, ask away because we want to do some playing and yeah, I want you guys to have fun rather than just us talking at you for a while. So I guess
We've had enough of that for the last couple of weeks.
exactly, yeah. So let's dive in. So Vicky, keep me updated on any comments and questions.
So we've got Gemma and Zia and Charlie watching.
Excellent. Hello all. Hello all. So let's talk about a few different ways we can do kind of some of these chords. So the first very, very basic chord, or one of the first that we have in Junior 1 and Young Beginner, is this C major chord, where we have our first finger on the first fret of the second string. And it's quite nice, very to the point, nice short little chord. And something that I often do when I've got this kind of chord, it's very, very simple. It's like all these chords I've tried to do will not require more than one finger. I promise you, that is my commitment to you guys today. Simple is best sometimes. So sometimes when I'm playing the C chord, I like to slide my first finger up and I like to play it here. So I've got it on the 5th fret now. So I've got open string 3, 5th fret, and then open string 1. So we'd have this. And so it's very subtle, but if we change the chord midway through, we get something like this. And if we go to a new chord, it just creates a bit of movement, and it just sounds really cool. And I like the sound of these kind of things. So that was going to an E minor chord. So I've done a very, very bodged job of putting something together as a visual play.
Exciting. I was wondering if you've done that.
I've used Word and what would have been the equivalent to Microsoft Paint.
Our technical abilities between us, Jimmy, are just astounding, especially over the last few months, So
guys, get ready for some cool visuals here. War. So as you can see here, this is my C chord. So I've got my first finger there on the 1st fret, string 2. I've only included 4 strings on the guitar rather than 6. Again, this is because we're never going to use more than one finger, and we're never going to use more than 4 strings. So but yeah, but I've numbered them underneath so you can see it's that's our D string, that's our G string, B string, and our E string at the top. So our second chord is what we've just done. So that is now on the 5th fret. I should probably have written a little thing in there. Cool. So moving on, now we've got our E minor.
And did you say that that's not an E minor chord, that second one, Jimmy? Or am I nitpicking here and ruining your flow?
Which one? This one here?
Yeah.
I would use that as a C chord.
Okay.
So it basically doesn't have a C in.
Sure. Well, yeah, that's that's what I was wondering.
But it's that thing of it sounds similar enough.
Okay.
I would use it as like
just a little bit of colour.
Just a bit of colour, a bit of movement. Yeah. And then our E minor chord, because I'm trying to be as theory free as possible and not give you loads of numbers and names and extensions and things. So here we got our basic E minor chord. So if we've done this in Young Beginner Junior 1, we will know that it's just strings 3, 2, and 1. So that's our E minor chord. And then I've given us a few different variations here. So I thought I'd written on here what fret that is. So this, now we have fret number 4 on the G string. Sound like this. It's very kind of subtle, but if we played 2 strums on the standard E minor without any fingers, so it kind of creates a little bit of movement, and you can kind of, it's a very subtle difference. And for those that have done, you know, kind of senior 1, senior 2, junior 2, those kind of chords, I'll show you how you can use this. There's a cool little movement between some chords, but shortly. So our next one, probably should have done this at the end, but this is the 2nd fret on string number 4 now. So again, all these strings are always going to be 4, 3, 2, 1, yeah, and this would sound like this. So it's still our E minor chord, but the only difference is that we're playing string 4 with the 2nd fret on now.
Ah, yeah. I used to teach that one back before we did G4. That was one of the beginner chords that I used to teach.
Nice, yeah. So still one finger. I'm still sticking to my commitments here, but it just gives it a slightly, I guess, darker kind of flavor to it. Mm-hmm. So instead of starting on 3rd, we have that. It just seems a bit, ooh.
It adds that extra E note, doesn't it, just to make it a little bit more, a little fuller, I guess.
Exactly, yeah. And I guess in conjunction with the 4th fret, we can also use the 7th fret on the G string here. So we have this sound.
Oh, I like that.
Is if we're going to be very technical. So we're just superimposing the minor 7th on there, so it sounds a bit spicy. So for our E minor now, we have first one, standard one. We've got our 4th fret, 7th fret, and then the full one with our 1st finger on 2nd fret. Yeah. So a few different ways that we could do this. If we had a chord progression that was C to E minor, and one of the songs that I will be showing you later on is C to E minor, we could do, rather than just play what we've got as 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, we could do things like this now. 2. And it just sounds, you know, you can add your own spin to it, you can add your own flavor to it. And
that sounds lovely.
Again, we've done nothing but play, you know, these kind of things in here. I've not added anything, you know, different for what we've just spoken about. And the kind of idea is that, you know, you have options and you can play around with it and you can have fun. Because I think a big part for me personally, I'm not sure about your experiences, Vicki, where you can learn as many chord shapes as you want, but until you actually sit down and try and like make something up or play something that you like the sound of, it's never going to really stick. And
yeah, well, we were talking about that last week, weren't we? When Mike mentioned those books with billions of chords in them, and you buy them and you think, oh, do I have to learn all these chords? No, you know, you only need to learn 4 or 5 chords as long as you start using them. You know?
Exactly.
That's why it is so important to start using the chords that you learn before you learn any new ones, really, because otherwise you're just going to forget them.
Precisely. And then I guess just whilst we're here at this point, for those of you that have done you know, more chords than this, for example, you can use these kind of movements between your bigger chords that you might have learned. For example, if you've done a big E minor and a big C chord, you might want to use some of these kind of, you know, well, for example, this little shape here with the 4th fret and the 7th fret, you know, and you can experiment with other frets as well to see what works for you. So if I was going from E to a C chord, I'll throw a couple of these bits in and you can kind of hear how I get there. So. So I kind of added a little fill using these kind of types of chord. Again, I do it to create motion, and you know, you mess about with it until you find stuff you like. to the C chord. Did that work?
Really
Maybe.
nice.
Maybe, you know, and you kind of experiment. So I said in the G there, but we'll look at the G chord now. So, any questions so far on anything, Vicki, or we'll...
No questions, but we've got a few people watching. Ruben's with us. Jacob and Alok, I think, are
Hey, Jacob. Cool. So now we're moving to our G major. Again, guys, really sorry about my rushed kind of Microsoft Paint style drawings here. So for G major, I've just given us kind of three little different ones here. So for those of you that are theory buffs, each one of these notes that I'm sliding up to, so the third fret is the actual G chord that we've learned in Junior 1 and Young Beginner. We now have the 7th fret as an option, and then the 10th fret. Yeah, and these notes here are all notes of the chord. So this is technically a little G major arpeggio. Yeah. So again, we can use them and we can slide up between them and create these kind of sounds if we have G.
Again, I don't mean to rain on your parade here, Jimmy, but no, I'm only joking. This is awesome. I actually used to do, we had a piece of music that we used to do with complete beginners that was a similar thing, but it was like arpeggiating I'm not going to name it or name where it comes from. But yeah, it was people who were with us pre G4 may remember doing some of these pieces. But instead of strumming them, we were arpeggiating those three strings and coming up with like arpeggiating patterns and stuff.
Exactly. So as Vicky's just mentioned, again, all the examples I've given so far, I have strummed everything, but all of these we can arpeggiate. And when we say arpeggiate, we just mean obviously to turn into an arpeggio. And all an arpeggio is where we play the notes of a chord, but just one at a time rather than all together. So any of these kind of shapes that we've got. So for E minor, we could do the G ones. I'm going to scroll down so you can see it. This is now the G. Yeah, and again, there's so many possibilities. And if you guys, any of you guys that are into songwriting or anything like that, all these little sounds, you know, they're all tools you can use to help create things or shape how things sound. For me, I'm a big believer in, I don't know if this is the jazz training in me, but you know, putting your own spin on absolutely everything if you can, because you know, there's so many possibilities. Why would you just stick to a C chord that sounds like that? Why not? Why not do this? But anyway, so those are a couple of like the different chords that we've got. So I will probably do a proper version of this. I know we also have another chord, which is a G7 chord. But normally with G7, I find G and G7 the interchangeable ones. It's just a little movement, but anything you can do for this G major, all these ones here, you can do with G7 as well. Oop, not there. There we go. So those all work to G7 as well, which is, I guess, one of the things that we've kind of wanted to kind of look at and do. So with this, let's have a look at some ways that we could do them, because obviously we've got three chords there, because again, I'm counting G and G7 really is the same thing, which without going into theory, 9 times out of 10, it's 5 times out of 10 they are, if we're in the key of C, that is. But again, not going in theory. I'm not doing a theory lesson today. I'm at home in my parents' house. I've eaten a lot of good food. I'm feeling very zen. I don't want to. I don't want to talk about theory today. So,
wow.
right. This is new. So
the new chilled out Jimmy. You have to go up to your parents more often.
Maybe. So one thing that I don't have with me is a capo. So a couple of the songs that I wanted to look at, again, there's literally hundreds that we could do with just these three chords, but we're going to look at some that we don't need a capo to use to play, if that makes sense. So cool, let's have a look. So first song we can do, this is one that I often tell my kind of juniors and young beginners to look at because it's 2 chords, is G to E minor. And the song is Songbird by Oasis. We don't need a cap to play it, and the whole song is just G, E minor, G, E minor.
It's a great one. It's interesting because it wasn't a single, so a lot. I don't think, was it?
There was a music video for it.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. Well,
Maybe
it passed me by. But it's, I mean, it's not one of their better known songs, is it? Is it?
No.
But I think the reason why it's only got 2 chords in it is because it was written by Liam and not Noel, and obviously, I guess he probably just learned. I don't know. I'm speculating. I don't want to, you know. Liam Gallagher may be a fantastic guitar player, but I suspect he probably just learnt a couple of chords and wrote a song, you know, using them. So that's why it's a great one to learn.
Yeah. So something again that I would kind of really rate about this song is because when we did our first kind of very basic versions of, like, you know, G and E minor, G we're using 1 finger, E minor we don't have to use any fingers to play it. So it's great training for any of you, like, you know, practicing your chords, putting the finger on for G, taking it off for E minor, finger on, finger off, you know, kind of Karate Kidding, kind of wax on, wax off, but finger on, finger off, finger on, finger off. It's great training. So anyone that's struggling with their chords and, you know, or just kind of want a bit more stamina training, you know, fingers like biceps, all that sort of stuff. Songbird, because finger on, finger off, great one. So that's one that we could start off with. So the whole song itself, I'll play with the small chords. So we've got G, E minor, and the whole song is this. So we're practicing finger on and then finger off.
Wow.
But
it's as simple as that. The whole song just does that.
Yep, the whole song. So if we can, I guess, once we get to the point where that becomes quite comfortable, we might get a bit bored and we might want to put our own spin on it. So instead of 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, we can have. Mess around with some of these ones. That was a bit out there, but
I like that last note. Yeah. I like to do jazz.
Sorry, I'm trying to avoid it, but it's that thing of, like, we can experiment and we can explore these kind of chords. So I made a tiny Spotify playlist with 3 songs on, called songs for J1 without a capper, although I think I simplified it for J1 chord songs. So Songbird is number 1. Number 2, I don't know if I'm doing this in order, but we also have Paperback Writer by the Beatles.
So, classic.
So for some of you that have heard the song before, there is an actual proper guitar riff in it, but if you wanted to strum along with the chords, you need to G and C, I believe, actually, or you can use G7 and C instead of the G. Again,
the whole song has just got 2 chords in it. I'm just going through it in my head.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll tell you what, guys, to give you a bit of context, am I going to get sued and are we going to get it taken down if we put the song on? Are Facebook going to go?
I hope not. I mean, surely if you just play a couple of seconds.
Yeah. So there's a cool riff in it. I'll tell you what, we'll see if we can.
I think we'll be all right. We managed to stream the entire hour and a half recital with only, I think, 9 seconds taken down. So I think we'll be all right. Okay.
So for those of you watching on YouTube later, or now, should I say, because present time, you might not be able to see this, but we'll give it a whirl anyway. So this is my tiny little playlist that I started making today. And these 3 songs here, so we have Songbird by Oasis, Paperback Writer, so that is G or G7 and C, And then we have Eleanor Rigby as well, which is just, I believe, C and E minor. Yeah. So just 3 songs with just different combinations of the chords that we looked at earlier, where we now have loads of variations that we can play and add into. We can kind of go about and do our own thing here. So I think I did actually get up a little web page with, yes, I did. Oh, I'm almost super organized today. There we go. So the whole song, they've used G7, but you can use G if you want to, and any of the chords that we had on the other sheet with the variations on, we can do. So G7, 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 C, G7.
Wow. I never
Whole
knew that,
song.
Jimmy. In 50 years of teaching guitar and being a big Beatles fan, I never knew that this
50
only had 2
years?
chords in it. Huh?
Did you say 50 years?
50 years, yeah, I look pretty good, right? No, 15
There we go.
years of teaching guitar. I never knew that, so this is great.
So it's a really, really great one to use. And
And
then
of course, it means that you have to listen to the Beatles to play along, and there's
it's
there's
a
nothing
great
wrong
one
with
to
that.
do. And
It's a
then
great introduction to the Beatles for the younger generation, definitely.
absolutely. So 2 chords, and then obviously this time, you can use G or G7, but the C to G7 hop is a great one to practice as well. But again, because you've got so much time on the G or the G7, you can mess about, you can explore, you can try and create counter melodies to what's going on. It's a great one to kind of mess about with because you've got so much time, and then when you go into the C chord, either of those will work really, really nicely, and then you're straight back in the G. So have fun with that because it's a great one. At the top here, I've got another one open with Eleanor Rigby. Ignore these crazy numbers. You can literally play an E minor for all of it. But the whole thing, C, E minor, C, E minor, C, E minor, C, C, E minor. The whole thing. So all of these chords that we've done. Oops, sorry. All these little variations we can add in, and we can have a lot of fun with. But the whole song, just C and E minor. No capo, standard tuning, yeah. So those 3 songs in particular. So Songbird, well, we've just got G and E minor. That's one combination of those 3. Paperback Writer, where you can have G and C or G7 and C. That's a combination 2 of these chords. And then Eleanor Rigby, where we've got C and E minor. That's our 3rd combination, and we're practicing different chord changes as we do it. So I find it really, really kind of like there's 3 kind of intro songs with the chords that we've got. I think these 3 are fantastic because they're just they're different orders.
Brilliant, yeah.
Quite a bit of time on the chords because there's only 2 chords per song. We don't have to think about like a 4 chord progression like we often do with a lot of songs. And we've got time to experiment and think, oh, actually, with Paperback Writer, for example, because you've got so much time on the G chord or the G7 chord, why don't you try and arpeggiate it?
Oh, nice.
And see if you can match a bit of the riff, and really have fun with it, because they're such great songs to learn. But I believe we do have, I say believe, I know for a fact we still have a full list of this. I'm going to stop sharing my screen live in case I'm on the wrong thing.
You're all right.
No, there is no, there we go. So let me share this, guys, and obviously pop in the comments or anything like that. We can email this list out to anybody and everybody.
Yeah, I think this is absolute gold, by the way, because people often ask me, oh yeah, this was something that one of our other G4 teachers put together.
Exactly. So
in
Songbird
G4
at the top.
Surbiton.
And yep, shout out G4 Surbiton. So if you have a capo, which is one of those things that attaches to, I guess, your frets and presses them all down, it changes the key, but you can use the same chord shapes with them. So you can play Closer by Neo. Actually, I just need a capo. Capo, I Got a Feeling, Black Eyed Peas, Something in the Way, Nirvana. There's quite a lot of cool stuff on here. Born in the USA.
Yeah, there's some slightly more current stuff on here as well. I mean, it's great to listen to the classic stuff, but I think it's also good.
A couple of these guys that we've just done.
Yeah.
So again, if any of you guys want this, obviously just let us know. I'm sure we can get that sent out to you. But just
I'll
in
put
terms,
these up on here after this,
sweet.
because I think I've got these somewhere.
Because even for those of you that aren't young beginner or junior one, if you've got your big C and your big G, you can
Totally.
sorry, add those kind of things in. Just as a little extra thing. But again, there is literally so much we can do with what we've got already. But I guess the main point of what I kind of wanted to waffle at you today was just have fun with what you've got. You're learning skills, but you can probably play a lot more than you think you can
Yes.
already. So I guess a lot of people are, oh, when can I play songs? When can I do this? Well, you learn these chords pretty much within the first 5 weeks of you picking up your instrument. You can be playing songs like this today.
Yeah.
I can obviously link anyone out to the lead sheets. I've literally got an Ultimate Guitar and just got them as like a chord sheet type thing with the chords and this, that, and the other on. But there's so many songs that you can probably actually start playing immediately rather than, waiting for us to be like, oh, this is the time that we learn this. It's like, well, you already know the chords. So just knowing when to come in is a big one. But I'm sure that if there's interest for it, we can do actual chord workshops where we have, I guess, we actually teach the songs and structure wise and things like that. But there's so much that we can be doing already with what you've already got. I guess the thing I want to get across is like, it's never too early or never too late. That's the word. I don't know the time frame I'm going for here. It's never too soon. You can start playing these things immediately, and then as you go on, you'll learn new things, and you can apply that to a song that you've already learned before, and you can keep building on it. But again, don't think you've not been learning for long enough to actually start playing music. It's a musical instrument. We can play a lot of stuff already, probably more than you think you can, and also it's really fun. So
Yeah, and also as well, if you're learning these 4 chords, like often people will say, oh, how do I practice these chords? This is a great way just to practice the chords, just practice them along to the songs. And so you're not only are you getting to play a song, you're also practicing your chords and learning them as well. And you're going to learn them much quicker if you've got something like this to do with them than just backwards and forwards for no reason, because this helps put it into context and make it fun as well.
make it fun. All of those little kind of movements that we were talking about earlier that we had the sheet up for, see if you can throw them in. Like, again, I don't think there's any right or wrong thing with music. I'm sure someone somewhere will call me out on this. I think there's I guess just choices and preference rather than right or wrong personally. And you know what I mean, like you can choose whatever you want to choose, and if it sounds good to you, it sounds good to you. Like as long as you enjoy it, you're listening to what you're doing and you have fun. I think that's probably the most important thing for me, just to enjoy it.
Definitely, that's what makes it all worthwhile, isn't it? I guess. Yeah.
So I didn't go in depth there. Hopefully, I tried to get to a point where we never use more than one finger.
No, that was absolutely perfect. No, absolutely perfect. And I know we're going to do some more of these, aren't we, with different chords from different levels. So
maybe I'll do next time. I'll do maybe no more than 2 fingers.
okay,
So
that's
we
a
can
good
start
idea.
like little A minor chords.
Yeah.
Have major.
Oh yeah.
All these kind of chords.
Very nice.
These kind of chords. Yeah, 2 fingers. We got a lot we can do with 2 fingers. So maybe I'll work it out by fingers. So,
But yeah, I mean it and also it's about being creative. It's about it's about listening. Like as you say, there aren't any right or wrong really. I mean there are, but if something sounds good to you, then it works. You know, it's all
Choices and
down to
preference.
preference.
That's all I think there is. You know, there's only 12 notes. I'm sure again someone's going to dispute me on that as well, but there's 12 tones in Western music.
I was going to say, it depends which system you're talking about. Jimmy, you might know the answer to this question. I have heard this quote before. This is from Rick Brooks. He says, didn't a well-known jazz player say that you need to learn the rules in order to break them?
Yes.
Who said that? Was it someone like Miles Davis?
I feel like that's just one of those kind of standard things.
Yeah,
not music
I think so
exclusive,
too.
but yeah, I've been told you need to learn the rules first, but I also would argue that you need to trust your ears as well and not let the rules dictate what sounds right or wrong to you.
True, absolutely.
But
I
again,
certainly did that for a long time before I learned the rules.
but I've also done 5 years at music school and had the rules drilled into me, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, you know, just enjoy it. But if you make a mistake, luckily with jazz is if you make a mistake, you know, you can kind of play around it quite easily. Whereas, you know, if you add in a flat 9 interval in a G chord, for example, in pop music, it's kind of harder to get out of.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you know, it's all circumstantial as well. But just listen to as much music as you can when you play. Actually listen to the sounds that you're making, I think, as well, is a big one. A lot of people will run exercises and not actually pay attention to what they're doing, and I do think it's important to actually hear what you're doing, which is why I'm also going to double take this back around and say tuning is very important as well for that. Tune your guitars before your lessons.
Is this a slight bugbear of yours, Jimmy?
It's one of them ones.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
We're getting there. I just like the sound of in-tune guitars.
Yeah, me too.
So, yeah,
definitely.
Cool. Is there anything anyone's asked or said, or
no, just a conversation with Rick. He says it wasn't Miles Davis. A bebop player might have been Charlie Mingus. I'm sure we can look it up.
Yeah, it sounds like a kind of Charlie Parker-y type thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. That was absolutely brilliant, Jimmy. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Again, the purpose was not intense learning; it was fun. So
fun, and it's and we're into the summer holidays now. I mean, I know it's all been a bit weird and blurry this year for everybody, I'm sure. But particularly kids, if they want something extra to do, we're more than happy to provide more things like this, songs, more kind of fun stuff, experimental stuff. Keep on practicing in the usual way, of course, but yeah, you've got plenty of time now to do more things like this. Listen to more music and just experiment doing different things.
Play more Beatles.
Play more Beatles. Well, yeah, Beatles is just one band, but definitely worth getting into. Or parents getting your children into some Beatles stuff, because their songs are great to play on guitar as well. So.
Absolutely.
All right. Did we want to let people know about your time off next week, Jimmy? We probably should do this now, shouldn't we?
Yeah. So I've gone from having jury service to not having jury service, but now I'm just gonna take a holiday now. So I'm still gonna be.
I think is well deserved, to be honest.
Yeah, as you can see, I'm sort of already in my zen kind of zone. With my parents feeding me a lot, and I've eaten more this week than I have, I think, in the last 2 months, and it's been amazing. But yeah, so I'm just not going to be in for any of my weekday classes, but I'll still be about the weekend. So I'm just doing the next 2 Saturdays, and then after that I'll be back.
Yeah. So Wednesday and Thursday next week, Carlos and I will be teaching, and Carlos was sitting in with you this week, wasn't he? So
he was.
Hopefully most of the students will have met him.
And for those of you that think, oh, new teacher, he might not be as strict, I've made him tell me if any of you don't practice, so I will now. I'm joking.
He'll be keeping notes. He'll be texting you in the middle of the lesson.
Keep practicing.
Excellent. So yeah, you're in tomorrow and next Saturday, but not Wednesday and Thursday. That's right, isn't it? Great stuff, Jimmy. All right then. Well, we'll hope you all found that useful. It will be going up on YouTube as well next week. So this would be a really good one to save, actually, because this is probably going to be one that you're going to want to watch back a few times. I certainly want to watch it again.
Yeah, I'll make sure that I send you or actually maybe I'll write them out properly, the notes and stuff for different chord types.
And I'm going to add some stuff here as well before I go out. So nice one. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.
Have a good weekend, guys.
Cheers. Bye-bye.